Breaking Down the Law is sponsored by Battle Born Injury Lawyers.
Okay, welcome back to our newest segment here on News 3, live at noon, Breaking Down the Law. We're joined by Matthew Hoffmann, a local attorney here in town. And today we're going to talk about something that we talked about last week, and then we have another story that's dominating headlines today. Today we're talking about the Dram law, and that's where somebody who serves somebody too much alcohol could be held liable if they hurt themselves or someone else. So last week it was a woman in Texas who served a man who ended up going and killing 8 people with a gun. In the case with Tiger Woods, which is in the headlines today, he owns a bar. The bartender, after his shift, had too much to drink, killed himself in a crash.
Correct.
So 2 different versions of the Dram law, which we do not have in Nevada, so it does not apply here.
Correct.
Okay, can you go over that law
Yeah,
for us?
so dram shop liability, it goes back to, in Nevada it goes back to the saloon days.
Okay.
Yeah, a dram refers to a small amount of liquor. Any establishment that would serve it is called a dram shop.
Okay.
So basically anybody that serves liquor. And back in the the gold rush days, somebody walks into a saloon, they have too much to drink, and then they go and get in a gunfight. The idea was personal responsibility. That's not the bar's fault for what they did. But then over time, it's developed, and most states now allow these establishments to be sued if they overserve.
Okay.
And so the Texas case, tragic case, had a lot of details involved. But the bottom line is in Texas, if you overserve an obviously drunken person, you can be held liable if they later then go and harm somebody. Usually it's a DUI type situation, a car crash. Now in Florida, with the Tiger Woods case, that's not what the law is. So their exception to dram shop liability is that you can serve an obviously intoxicated person, that's fine, and you can't be held liable for it. But if you serve somebody that you know is a habitual drunkard, is the word they use.
That's the word,
yes. Then you can be held responsible.
So has this been something that they've tried to pass in Nevada? Has this issue ever been addressed in Nevada? Why do you think we do not have it here?
The casino industry, hospitality, very powerful in this state, the largest employer by far. There have been attempts to carve out exceptions. The most notable is for minors. So if you overserve somebody who's a minor, and then the minor leaves and harms somebody, people have tried to say, well, you broke the law, and hold them responsible. Supreme Court has repeatedly said no. They have absolute immunity. And then in 95, there's actually a law that says, confirms the immunity of anybody an establishment that sells liquor, even if it's to a minor. You cannot hold them responsible for that. But you or I do it.
That's what I was going to get to. So we have 30 seconds, so I just wanted to touch on this because I think people should know. So if you're in a bar and you serve somebody, our laws say you are not responsible.
Correct.
If you serve somebody in your home at a Super Bowl party, they go out and kill themselves or hurt somebody else, you could be held liable.
If they're a minor, you are liable.
Oh, wow.
Period, under the law. And if they're not a minor, you could be liable. So it doesn't really make sense when you think about it. Who's in a better position to determine whether somebody is, becoming overly intoxicated? A professional establishment versus you or I who are throwing a Super Bowl party. But that's the law in Nevada as it stands now.
So, okay, well, interesting. Unfortunately, we're out of time. I think this is something that we could continue to talk about, which is why we continue the conversation on social media. You do a Facebook Live on our station's Facebook, News 3 LV. You can find us on Facebook. And if you have any questions for Matthew, please ask him, because I think it's important that we talk about this. This is something that keeps coming up in the news. And obviously here in Las Vegas, a lot of people would be affected by the Dram law. So we don't have that, but be careful if you're serving people in your homes.
Yes, be careful.
All right, good to know. Thank you, Matthew. We'll see you again next Wednesday.